a new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause. To achieve the universal aspirations of mankind, peace and security.
For the benefits and drawbacks of human microchips.
There's going to be a new world order out there. A new world order out there. We've got to lead it, and we've got to unite the rest of the free world and do it. So anyway, I'm going to hush up very far away.
Into a cashless society.
To a cashless society.
For the benefits and drawbacks of human microchips.
Global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected. In times of crisis, the role of governments is more important and more relevant than ever. What is also needed is a summit like this one to go beyond crisis management and to look into constructive ways we can build our common future. Our futures are intrinsically connected to one another, as profound challenges to mankind, such as climate change, are globally interconnected and require collaborative responses. In conclusion, and despite all the challenges, we have to uphold our responsibility, which we have towards the next generation, and which we can only fulfill through collaboration on a national and on a global level. I wish you an impactful and successful meeting.
Nothing to worry about there at all, is there? Now, if you are a conspiracy theorist, which is actually the name the left give to those who can predict the future with remarkable accuracy, you might think this is all happening by design. I mean, the WEF have been upfront about their agenda for us. WEF founder Klaus Schwab even wrote about it in a book entitled The Great Reset. That's where you'll own nothing and be happy. And we do see a global coordination of attacks on our way of life, our customs, our morals, and our values. Now, these attacks are levied on nation states as well, who oppose this agenda by extraordinary and what I consider to be illegal sanctions of those governments and of individuals residing there. Our Anglosphere leaders, they're meant to be the ones representing the free world. Well, they're also pushing global censorship and global taxation. They are weaponising law enforcement and tax collectors against those who resist. And these same leaders celebrate movements that rely on deceit, destruction and chaos to divide society, while they largely compliant media mostly report only the official interpretation of events. These agents of political change are now so emboldened they will happily lie, and they seem to have no fear of being exposed. That's why they seem happy to misrepresent everything from war to science, from economics to biology, in order to condition you to actually accept what is unacceptable. Now, these things have been done before our very eyes, but most people refuse to see it. So many still labour under the belief that government does what it does for our benefit. But if that were true, would our nation be nearly $1 trillion in debt? Would Europe be on the cusp of a financial contagion? Would America be a society divided by racial and identity politics? And if government was so helpful, why would allowing all of us to keep more of the money we earn be deemed so controversial amongst politicians? I mean, surely we're capable of spending our money better than any government.
very, very dangerous thing is happening in Britain. We are being turned into a cashless society. Ask yourselves this: who does a cashless society benefit? Big business? Big corporation? Big banks? Fraudsters? Totalitarian regimes? It gives total control to all the wrong people and leaves you totally at their mercy. That is why GB News is launching its Don't Kill Cash campaign. We want to stand up against tyranny and stand up for vulnerable people. We are witnessing right now that banks will close the accounts of people who go against the establishment agenda. Just look at what's happening to Nigel Farage and a whole host of other anti-establishment figures who are coming out of the woodwork now. We've seen governments freeze people's assets if they went against the lockdown nonsense. We've seen companies like PayPal do the same. How long will it be before people get their assets frozen because they don't go along with the LGBTQ plus agenda, or if they say the wrong thing about mass immigration? We are hurtling towards a Chinese-style social credit system whereby good citizens are allowed to receive money and bad ones have it taken off them. It quite literally buys compliance, it buys silence, it buys obedience, it buys control. I don't want to live in a society where you're one wrong word away from being bankrupt. I don't dare say that you do either. This is a way of financially excluding people, and this is important, turning people into non-people. The left get very energized about people being financially excluded from society. Well, they should be piping up about this. But this campaign isn't just about stopping the asphyxiating hand of totalitarian tyranny. No, it's also about standing up for the rights of the marginalised. Cash is a lifeline for the elderly. Many older people struggle with online banking. For a lot of elderly people who can still drive, they rely on being able to park their car up in a town centre and going for a little walk to keep themselves stimulated and to meet people. But now parking meters are going fully cashless. This means grandmas and granddads around the country will have to try to use phone apps to pay online, and that is completely unfair. It will trap them in their own homes and make them feel less a part of society than many of them sadly already do. We should be enabling the elderly, not shunning them. What about people in rural communities as well with poor broadband or mobile connectivity? Cash can keep struggling rural communities going, the cogs of the local economy turning. And going digital will put a big spoke in the wheel. What about the homeless? They survive by people walking past and just giving them a bit of spare change, maybe even a note if they're lucky. If we're all walking around with digital wallets, then what happens to them? Do they just starve or freeze on the streets? But also, think about this. If all of your currency is online, then that is a complete gift for online fraudsters. You might wake up one morning and someone's completely cleaned you out and you haven't got any cash to fall back on. What do? You're screwed. Cash is also sentimental. It has sentimental as well as monetary value. There is something very special about getting a £5 note in a birthday card, isn't there? Or the tooth fairy leaving a couple of quid under your pillow as a child. I mean, it's also a great way of keeping the Queen's memory alive. GB News' Don't Kill Cash campaign is calling on the government to introduce legislation committing to protect the status of cash as legal tender and as a widely accepted means of payment in the UK until at least 2050. But in order to speak for you, we do need your help. Sign up and register with our petition using the QR code that's on your screen right now, or you can do it directly on our website, gbnews.com. Just hold your phone next to the QR code and follow the steps, or like I've said, just go to the website if you find that a little bit easier. If any of the different dangers of a cashless society, and I've just mentioned there, concern you, and I'm sure that many of you will be able to think of some other negatives as well, then let's fight back. Our leaders need to know that the people have spoken and the people are shouting, "Don't kill cash."